Namaste and welcome to spiritual aspects of Agnihotra. Last week we have covered the very first mantra through which we place the fire in Havan Kund. That goes like Om Bhur Bhuvaswa Swayodhyav Eva Bhumna Pethivi Vayimna Tasyaste Pethivi De Vayajani Pishte Agnimanna Damanna Dhyaya Dade. And then we had just barely started with the next one. Om Udbudhya Swagni Pati Jagehi Twamishta Pute Samseje Tha Mayancha Asmin Sadhaste Adhyuttayasmin Vishwe Deva Yajamanascha Sidata. Let's discuss this mantra, very important because this has a lot of spiritual meaning hidden in it, that we are addressing the person who is organizing the Agnihotra is called Yajman, and he is addressing Ishwar as Agni, and also he is saying Tvam, you the Agni. Of course, Agni has multiple connotations, one who can lead us. So that will be physical light as well as light of knowledge. So he is, that supreme being is source of both the lights, physical light as well as the light of knowledge. So he is being addressed that Udbudhyasva. So unfortunately in this, I am showing Sanskar Vidhi, but Maharishi Dayanand is not giving the meaning of the mantras. So I am borrowing it from one Havan book edited by Pandit Yudhishthir Mimamsak. He was a very learned scholar, but his meanings are more in the physical sense. So I am borrowing his meaning in the physical sense, but then transporting it to the spiritual domain. So he is writing, Udbudhyasva prakashit hove, prati jagehi pradipt hove. So prati jagehi is like something is there. So the prefix prati is, kind of a reaction. Like when you make a sound, it is called dhvani. And when you hear its reflection that comes back to you, what is called echo, that is called as pratidhvani. So prati is something afterwards in reaction to what's the has already been done. So prati jage is an interesting term. So if we look at the Samhita has the heat, the fire within it, but it is not visible at this point. And once it is ignited, it appears. So that is what is Pratijagahi. And then Udbudhyaswa means it gives rise to, it throws its light as well as heat to the whole surroundings. So you can see that Samhita as if the origin of fire on the earth, but that's what we discussed last week, that it has obtained or inherited from the sun. And the sun in its turn has obtained it from that supreme consciousness who bears the name of Agni, Surya, and many other names. So this is a cycle. The Yajman, the person, is very much aware of it, that the flow of energy, and not only this energy, but the knowledge and all other kinds of purification factors is from Supreme Being to the sun, to the earth, and then to me. So, and last week we even came across the term annad. So, even anna, the food grain, is also a storehouse of energy of the sun. So, let's come back to the samhita, which is holding the energy within it, and it shows off it udbuddhyasva, and what it has been borrowed from the sun and from the supreme being. But now, since I am very much in recognition of the fact that the samhita, the fire of the samhita in front of me, actually it represents that supreme Agni itself, who has enormous, in all dimensions, powers and capabilities. So that is what is reflected by Ishtapurte. Very interesting term here, that this reflects what is the starting mantra in Sandhyopasana as well, when we say Abhishtaye and Pitaye. So Abhishtaye is to benefit from all the material things. That's what will give me survival. So, like what we say, avidyayam mityum titva. So, all the material assets and belongings are helping me to survive in this world and elongate my lifespan. But that itself is means, that cannot be the end. The end is pitaye, or what is called pute, that gives like a kind of fulfillment. That is very peculiar to human beings, because for other species, animals, birds, and all other species, the material things for survival and other uh, aspects of life are enough, that they don't they cannot visualize something beyond that. But human beings are very unusual, and uniquely unusual in the sense that even if I have all the material possessions, then also there is a sense of vacuum within me. We seek more than what we have. That way, every human being in the world is after something that he doesn't have already. He may not be knowing what is the source of that missing thing he's looking for, or he may not be able to articulate it. What is he seeking in his life? But everybody is seeking something that he doesn't have, isn't it? So, if that sense of vacuum is taken care of, any whatever is that out of the world thing that can fill that vacuum, then that is what is pitaye, and that is what we are seeking as purute. So here is the spiritual connotation of what am I expecting from Agnihotra, a kind of experience, or it may lead me to another path that can give rise to this, where the flow of energy was from Agni to the sun to the Samhita, and now I see it very, very visibly in my Havan Kund. And then I want to say that can this guide me in the reverse path also? Can this take me to that Agni where Samhita got its energy from, is it not? So that is what, if I get that intimacy with that Supreme Being, that will be my everlasting fulfillment. Veda Mehitam Purusham Mahantam Adityavar. So that is what in the Vedic terminology is the end objective of human life, to get to know him not just by words through the literature, but by, so to say, seeing is believing, by being with him. And that is what is the ultimate objective of every human being. Sam saje tham means sampanna kahe, that's what Yudhishthira is writing. May it happen in a true sense. So Pati Jagyahi, I can see it, and that's what can build to Buddhyasya and can very much be a reality. Sam sajetha mayancha. So this I am, this me, can go and be with him in a total sense. That is further clarified in the second part. Asmin sadhaste. Asmin is here, in right here. So right here in front of me is that fire that is very well established. Stha is, it is established. And then I am seeking it. Adhi uttaya asmin. Utta is beyond, you know. Utta and uttam. These are comparative degree and superlative degree. So these are two suffixes. Tayap, tamap. Tayap is for comparative degree. I want to go further. And uttam is superlative degree. That is the finality. So I am doing this havan, asmin sadaste, that is very in front of me, but I expect it to transport me to a different world, uttayasmin. And this prefix adhi is very important. Adhi is in the sense that has the authority. So I am so, I test this entire exercise of Agnihotra that this can transport me to a different world. What I am seeing is visible world in front of me, but from this visible world to another world where I will be with him, and that will be conclusive realm of Ishtaput. And not only that, because an Agnihotra or in general a Yajna, and I am the performer of that I call it as Yajman. So this is how Yajman is different from an Upasak for that matter, because Yaj is, the root Yaj is Dev Puja Sangati Karan Daneshu, where the term Dev is applicable to all the following three terms, namely Dev Puja, Dev Sangati, and Dev Dan. What it means is, this is how Yajna is different from Upasana in the sense, this is an organized effort where I don't do it alone. Upasana, I do it alone, but a Yajna is a particular karma, and that is an organized effort where I have to organize a team and make it a team effort. So Vishvedeva and Cha is that conjunction. I am not alone. I have organized, and we are together a number of other noble people. They are, of course, in the Devata category, because the Yajna Karma is a higher order karma, which is performed by Devatas, and for whom, for, as I said, Yaj is, the root Yaj is Dev Puja Sangati Karan Daneshu. So it is an organized effort by noble people to honor the noble people, not only humans, but say the Agni as such, which is representation of that super Agni, and also Sangati Kayan, we are we have teamed up together so that we can, it's not one individual's exercise, but a team's effort. And then Danesu, we have organized the effort with the view to giving away. So that is what is done when we want to give away to noble people, noble forces like Agni, Vayu, and when we say purification of air, that is also Dev Puja. Vayu is a Devta, and we have polluted it through our day-to-day activities. But now we have assembled together and with a intention, with an objective that we want to purify the air. So that will be Dev Puja. So here it is, the vehicle is a physical fire, but this vehicle can transport me to that supreme force of Agni also. And that realization is there. Asmin sadaste ajutayasmin vishve deva. And this benefit of this getting transported from the physical plane to spiritual plane is, I seek it from not only for myself, but for all the all the people who are with me at this time together. So whenever we seek something, goodness, we seek it for the entire group, not just for alone. So this is a second mantra we have discussed in the sequence of Agnihotra, a very powerful meaning that as I see physical fire in front of me, this has the capability to transport me to the supreme force of fire who is called Agni. Let's move on to the next one, which also appears and is now here, which is quite an important one because we recite it and place one Samhita into the Havan Kund. The sequence of three Samhitas begin here. The three Samhitas that reflect Nachiketa's fire, the fire within him that motivated him to face the force of the death also. So he went to meet Yamacharya. So, and then he was asked to wait for 3 nights. So that 3 nights bring him 3 boons, and then there are 3 kinds of fires. And those 3 samhitas are now going to be placed here. The first one by this particular mantra, Om Ayanta Idma Atma Jata Vedaste Netyaswa Vadhaswa Chedha Vadaya Chasman Pajaya Pashubhi Brahma Vachasen Annadyen Samedhaya Swaha Idam Agnaye Jat Vedase Idam Namam. So in this mantra, first time this ending comes, Swaha, and then it is repeated on several occasions later on, but it is the first time. And first time also the term Idan Namam. So we recognize this fact And this mantra is unusual in the sense, after these three samhithas, it is recited again 5 times. So it is basically recited 1 plus 5, total 6 times. And these are the following 3 of them are from Yajurveda, 3rd chapter, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. They are in a particular sequence. Indeed, the other one, the one we discussed last week, this is also from Yajurveda, 3rd chapter, 5th one. But what we discussed today is 15th chapter of Yajurveda. Anyway, so next week when we will be probably discussing these 3 mantras, they come in a sequence, Yajurveda 3rd chapter. But the reason I mentioned their source is because this is a very peculiar, unusual mantra, 1 plus 5 times, and it is not from many of the Vedas. This is coming from Ashwalayan Gahi Sutra, which is part of a literature called Vedanga. And within Vedanga, there is a very huge division of literature called Kalpa. And within Kalpa, there are Dharma Sutra, Gahi Sutra, etc., moral code of conduct, etc., like Chanakya's book, or Vidurniti, or Manusmriti, they will also fall in this category. But then there are Gahi Sutra, and this particular one is called Ashwalayan Gahi Sutra, from which this has been borrowed from. Very interesting, and I see it as a conveying the heart and soul of Agnihotra, and let's look at it from that point of view. So the person who is conducting the Agnihotra, he is kind of getting not only the motivation, but he is almost presenting himself or dedicating himself for the life that this Agnihotra is symbolizing for him. So he is saying, as if I see, of course, in physical sense, Ayam is this Samhita which I am going to place, and it has 2 powers, Idhyasva and Vardhasva. It has the latent fire, and that's what will be, once it is placed into the Havan Kund, it will get ignited. That kindling of that Samhita is Idhyasva, and then becoming as a mature flame is Vardhasva. So there are 2 parts. A Samhita, when it burns, one is the nascent stage of its burning, and then it is mature burning of the flame. So Idhyasva and Vardhasva. So he is saying, so Ayam could mean this particular Samhita, and now I am placing it into the vessel, and it will give rise to its own flame, and then it will build up to its full capacity, and that has a power. That has a power to ignite the neighboring Samhita. And then that neighboring Samhita also goes through that 2-stage process of Iddha and Vardhaya. Very interesting kind of meaning in this particular mantra, where from a spiritual sense, the person is saying that my entire life will be like what this Agnihotra in front of me is symbolizing, and in my entire life, I will put my whole soul, my Atma, as the Samhita, So Ayant Idma, which is also burning with that Agni power. And Jat Veda, as if a Ved is to know, like in Vedaham Purusham Mahantam, to know. It is a verb as well as it is noun, the body of knowledge. So when we say the Vedas, the books, this is as a noun. Ved is embodiment of knowledge. And when I say Veda aham etam purusham mahantam, I know that great Purush who is infinite. So then it is like verb. So here it is like saying all that is existent in this world. Ja is to give birth. So Jata is all that exists in the universe that has been born by the Supreme Being, and I sort of know him. So it's like if I know that Supreme Being, I know the whole world because he is the maker of the whole world. So what have I learned from the knowledge that I have obtained by knowing him? What I have learned is I have this capacity. Like that Samhita represents the Surya, the sun. In the same way, I also am representing that supreme being, that supreme consciousness. So, like this is a dipole of Samhita and sun, and my Atma, myself, and that supreme being. So, and I realize that I am not an ordinary being. I have this power within me, Ityasva Vardhasva. Within me, I can bring out that fire. That actually is that of supreme consciousness, but I can also bring it out. And then give it a mature shape. It's a, it's a fully developed stage. And what is that fully developed stage? Then another person, I can probably motivate him to become like me, and then his inner fire also gets ignited, and that also gets its fully developed stage. So Iddha Vardhaya. So this has a very profound meaning in terms of a success of a human life. Success of a human life is to kindle that fire within me, which actually is from that Supreme Being. So when I am like deep in Upasana, like what Maharishi Dayanand says, Upasana में उसके आनंद स्वरूप भाव में मग्न हो जाना. So here I am not Anand Swarup. I am just what is called Chidrup. I am consciousness as such per se, isn't it? That is called Chidrup. Chit is consciousness, and that is very much my inherent property. But he is Satchit Ananda Swarup. So beyond Chidrup, he is Ananda Swarup also. And like in that intimate togetherness in Upasana makes me also Ananda Swarup for those moments, and that Maharishi Dayanand uses a very interesting analogy that he uses an analogy as if a iron ball, a black iron ball is put in red hot furnace. So red hot furnace, say coal fired furnace, if in our childhood we have seen the steam engine. So, or you have seen a steam furnace, coal fired furnace. That is everywhere it is red hot. And now if you throw that black iron ball into that, in few minutes, that will also become red hot. Then nobody can distinguish where is the lump of coal and where is that lump of iron piece. Nobody can distinguish. Both are same. So this is a beautiful analogy to explain the moments of upasana, is it not? And this is also interesting from the point that if that iron ball comes out of the furnace, it will, in few moments, it will again becomes black, is it not? Now it is no more Ananda Swarup, it is only Chidrup, is it not? So that is a very interesting and analogy of being with him deep in upasana, and that's the power this person who is Yajman is aware of, that though I am doing symbolically this fire ritual of Agnihotra, I know its power, that this can, just like this visible fire Agni represents that supreme being Agni, and this can bring me also close to that supreme being Agni, that I will also have Idhyasva and Vardhasva. Just like the Samhita has that potential. It can, upon getting ignited, it can become a fully developed fire, and once it is Vardhasva, it has the power, capacity to ignite the neighboring Samhita also. So Agnihotra is interesting, as we said a few moments ago. This is an organized effort, and in the Havan Kund also, nobody can do with one Samhita the Agnihotra. We need more than one. So, and the Samhita is inherently capable of yielding, giving rise to its own full fire, and the strength of that full fire, fully developed fire, is its ability to ignite the neighboring Samhita, is it not? So in our social structure, one particular human being who is benefiting from Upasana, he should make attempts to pass it on to other human beings, is it not? So that is the message of Idhyasva, Vardhasva. This is with one human being, one individual, and then Cha is conjunction, and then he passes it on to Iddha, Vardhaya. So that's what was, say, life of Maharishi Dayananda, isn't it? So that young man, Munshi Ram at that time, who is a college student in Bareilly, and his father is a police officer and was given made in charge of taking care of law and orders in public lectures of Maharishi Dayananda. So as a police officer, he's just sitting there, but when he's sitting there, his name is Nanak Chand. He's the father of Munshi Ram. So while he's sitting there, he's also listening to the words of wisdom from Maharishi Dayananda. Then when he comes back home, he tells his young boy, Munshi Ram, well, it's a good idea. You also go and listen to him. Munshi Ram at that time was much impressed by the Western authors and reading all sorts of fiction books written by Western authors, and appreciating their language and the articulation of particular style, whatever you call it. And he was deeply in that, and was also a spoiled child in the sense doing all sorts of things in young age, has taken to alcohol and was in meat consumption also, and had that kind of friendly circle. So when his father suggests him that, look, one great sannyasi is there, then his Munshiam's first response is, what can an Indian old timer know about what's going on in the world? How can he enlighten me? I am in direct touch with the Western scholars, and I am benefiting from their literature. What does Dayanand has to offer to me? But still Nanak Chand told him, his father, why don't you try it once? Just see what happens. No harm in listening to him once. So he goes there a bit unwillingly, but then he noticed that there is some sense here. And then he tried to even probe further what this man is, and had a one-to-one meeting, discussed with him various issues, including, at young age, everybody is facing the question, does God exist or not? So that was bothering him a lot. And he asked his doubts, and Dayanand, in his own way, gave the response. But towards the end, because Munshi became Swami Shraddhanand and wrote his autobiography also, Kalyan Marg Ka Pathik. So he narrates many such events in his life. So he says, at the end, I told him, well, you have made me speechless, that I cannot argue more with you, but I don't believe in God. I cannot, of course, I am unable to, raise new arguments with you. You have, if we say in an argumentative sense, you have made me speechless. I have nothing more to say. But deep in my mind, I am unable to buy your arguments, because I am not feeling that convinced that Ishwar, God, does exist. Then to this, Dayanand says, his reply is, well, you asked me questions, I gave you the answers. And as far as that sense of belief in Ishwar, that is up to Ishwar to do it. That I cannot do it. So he says, जब ईश्वर की कृपा होगी तब होगा. And that is the power of Dayanand, which powerfully dhyasva vadasva, that some days later he became the recipient of this fire. So this is Dayanand, dhyasva vadasva, and this is Munshiyam, Iddha Vadaya. So the Samhita of Dayanand was able to ignite the neighboring Samhita of Munshiyam, and that became Shraddhanand. Of course, he is also Swami Dayanand and Swami Shraddhanand, but we should be very aware of the fact that Dayanand is a rishi. He is million times more than any human being that we can think of in modern times. But sure, so that Samhita was very different. And Swami Shraddhananda is also a powerful Samhita that he also passed on to his fire to hundreds of others in his later life. But this, when I use the word Samhita for Dayanand and Samhita for Shraddhanand, they too are at very two different planes. But this is the message of this mantra. And then what happens? this is interesting, that it is not that just 1 plus 1 is 2, or 1 and 1 is 11, whatever you call it, but we want it to go to the whole community, to the whole society. Whole society should benefit from this Agni, the physical Agni and the spiritual Agni. And what will be the benchmark for that? That benchmark is very beautifully described by us. Cha Asman. So we become the mechanism and we give rise to what? 4 things are given here. Vajaya. So the progeny, the children in our community will be praised, Prakashen, Prakashta is superior quality. So whatever is our quality, we should have children better than that. That is what is Manubhava Janaya Devyam Janam. So we give rise to higher level of Devatva. So Devatva must increase with from one to another. And then, as is the holistic nature of Ishtapute, Abhishtaya and Pitaya, we want good animals also. So animals are important for 2 purposes. One is their physical strength. So for drought, for agriculture, and other is cow gives us milk. So nowadays we are in a mechanized world where we don't appreciate the power of male oxen, etc. And they are killed even at tender age. And there are people who eat meat. That is a very wrong direction. Of course, horses are being used. So horse is also a powerful animal, but an ox is high load, low speed, what is called. So can carry much higher load, but walks very slow. Whereas horses can run very fast, but then it can carry very small amount of load. Maybe 1 or 2 persons can sit on it, but not heavy load like what an ox can carry. So, this is very much needed in today's world, an appreciation of animals. And of course, milk can come only from cow, but now because they kill the male animals, even cows at the tender age of 2.5, 3 years old, they have derived milk from it, and then she is sent. There is a total lack of gratitude and senseless thing. If you have taken milk from an animal, you have to have some sense. You cannot kill that animal, is it not? But what is prevalent in today's world? So much of pain and agony. Though we are in material and technological sense, we are so developed, but still there is so much of pain and suffering. I think the biggest singular reason is the cows that gave you milk, you don't even have the sense to not to kill that animal, is it not? So first that sense has to develop. And then even why to kill the male animal? Let's find some methods to use them. So this is our own children, then our extended family of animals, starting with cow, and they are Panchagramya Pashava. So that was the Vedic concept. In a village, there are 5 Pashu, 5 animals. The cow, the horse, the sheep, goat, and fifth is the human beings. So these five they are not wild animals. They are to live in the where we live. So they should be living with us. So in a classical sense, every family had its own cow, maybe horse and other animals. So they live together. That way, even children, if a child has lived with these animals right from early age, the child cannot think of killing them, isn't it? So, and this brings an ecological balance. So when we eat fruits and vegetables, all kinds of skins and things come out that we don't want to eat. Today it has to be going through a elaborate waste transport system. A big vehicle comes, takes away our waste, and then it is processed somehow or is dumped far away, and this is a burden. But if there is a cow in your own family, most of the things that you don't eat is consumed by the cow, and she converts it into milk. So all kind of waste is easily absorbed within your home or in the village level. So that was a lifestyle we have to think. And since now we have too much of human population, very bad quality. So all sorts of things are happening. We fall in a wrong vortex. So human quality has diminished, and then we are killing them. We don't know how to live together. And then it is bamboo virtues. So first was human good quality children, then good animals for draught power and for the milk and all other applications. Then the spiritual knowledge, Brahma virtues. And then I am Anad. Again, the same word came previously last week. Anad, Anadya. So Anad was interesting in the sense Anna means food gain, and if I eat it and I distribute it. So if I have the power to give away food to others, that means I have ample quantity of food. So food is the material progress. This is spiritual knowledge. This is my own family, inclusive of extended family of animals and birds. So there are four. One, second thing, third, and Anadyan was fourth. So we are saying that if the spirit of Agnihotra is absorbed in a total sense, then that will bring to me and to my community all these four things. We will have good quality children, we will have good animals, we will have spiritual sense, and we will have enough food gain that represents symbolic of all the material possessions. And this is another Vedic style, bit unusual. All this is for Samedha. Samedha, it happens. It is realized, you know. And then I am saying it Swaha. Swaha has three possible connotations. Now I am reading from, this is Nayukta by Yask. Nayukta Shastram. So the reference is, I think, 8.20. Yeah. 8.20, where Yask is an authority on the etymology of all the words that appear in the Vedas. So he says, let me see his words that are, of course, in Sanskrit, and then Hindi translation of them. So his words are Swaha Ketayah. Now, three meanings he's saying. Su plus Aha. That is number one. The second he says Swavag. Vag is our vocal cord. And then Swam and Pyaha. I will give the Hindi meanings. Then third is saying is, so one is Su plus Aha. Second is Swa and Aha. The third is Su plus Ahutam. Su and Aha. So Su and not Aha, but Ahutam. So it goes like this. Swaha. Yah sundar कहना. Su plus Aha is, I have said it well said, so to say. Mean. Swavag अपनी वाणी कहती है अथवा अपने को कहता है. Now he is saying, I am uttering these words, Swaha, but I am saying it to my own self, That means I am absorbing it deep within myself. Then the third is Su plus Ahutam, Sundar Hom Yogya Havi ko Homta hai. And that is also that I am, with this samidha or ghee or other herbal substances, I am putting in the proper stuff, the right kind of things into the fire. These are three meanings of the term Swaha, as coming from Yask, Nayukta. So that also we have seen, and let's say next time, or maybe very quickly, I can make this comment on Idan Namam, because that will also come on multiple occasions. Idan Namam. Of course, this will be different in different, like in this particular mantra, it is Idam Agnaye Jat Vedase Idan Namam. As if there are two particular devatas that have been identified, Agni and Jat Veda. And I am saying, I want them to flourish. And what I am offering is definitely I very much aware of, it is not mine. So Idam Namam is, Idam means this, what I am offering. Na is negation, not. Mama is mine. So this is not mine. This is not mine. That is the meaning of Idam Namama. But due to the Sandhi means when these two terms come together, if I speak out separately, it goes like Idam Na Mama. Now when they are brought together, now this ending is what is called Makar. That joins with Na. So Makar becomes like Na. So when I put these two terms together, it goes like Idan Namama. So this Ma sound becomes Na. Anyway, that is Sanskrit grammar. That is the phonetic aspects of. It's a beautiful scientific language where alphabets are also very scientific. So these are rules. Rules are not that they are being imposed by This way naturally this happens by itself. If you yourself speak these three terms separately and together, you will notice it happens by itself. So separately they are idam na mama. But if you go in quick succession, idam na mama. So that is going to happen like that. So what is the meaning of idam na mama? This is not mine. So that realization that even the samidha, the offering, the ghee, all that is, after all, is not mine. I have been blessed with them and I am putting it back into the nature cycle, is it not? So that is what is Yajurved 40th chapter, first mantra. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gedha kasya svidhanam. Kasya svidhanam, literally it means whose wealth is it? You know. But the ka is like in Kasmai Devaya Vishavidem. So we have discussed it previously in this sequence of mantras. Ka is also that supreme being. So when we say Kasya Svidhanam, this also means this whole wealth, the whole universe is his. Is it not? When it is his, then of course it is not mine. That is what is Idan Namama. Thank you very much for your attention. We will continue from here next week.